Supermoto. Here we are on this glorious day up at the Three Sisters circuit just outside Wigan in Lancashire. Now today we're not only going to find out just about these machines, I'm actually going to join these lunatics in a race this afternoon. What is Supermoto? Is it a riding style? Is it a hybrid? What actually is it?
Supermoto is a form of racing that currently is very popular in Europe, and it's sort of put together using two different forms of racing. One is the motocross side, so the bikes are mainly motocross orientated, and the wheels are 17-inch road wheels. So you've got a dirt bike which handles very well on the tarmac.
So who actually coined the phrase?
Supermoto is the English version of supermotard, and that's the name that they use in Europe. While Supermoto is very low profile at the moment in this country, we want to raise its profile, and so we thought that as it's very close to a model that we make on our range of bikes, it's a very good way for us to get people here to come and try the bikes. And one of the ways of doing that is by forming an endurance race. And with an endurance race, we have 10 teams of 4 people in each team with one motorcycle to share between the 4 of them.
Yeah.
You get a half an hour's practice in the morning, followed by a 2-hour race. And it's a way for people to have a ride on a bike, a bit of teamwork together, and everybody here is enjoying it today, and it's looking like it's going to take off over an 8-round series that we're going to be putting on over the year.
Is there a lot of sort of team tactics that are going on when you've got, obviously, all the riders are different, so are they kind of, you know, shuffling a couple of fast guys on there against, you know, is there a lot of team tactics?
Well, it's all about strategy, isn't it? You know, how you plan the strategy of your race between your team. And I've just been listening to a few of the guys in the pit lane, and it sounds like a Formula 1 pit lane in there.
What's the technique that you're using to, you know, to really get the power down and get this bike around the track?
I don't know, I think it's a bit of luck really.
Is it?
Skidding everywhere, but some of the lads out there, they're picking a good line and you can follow them and then just better it in certain bits, you know.
So you're just learning what they're doing there. You're using their techniques a little bit and then finding their weaknesses and then going after that, are you?
That's it, yeah, that's it, exactly, yeah.
Fantastic. Are you a road bike rider?
A bit, yeah.
Are you? Is this something, would you be thinking about buying one of these bikes and getting into the Supermoto?
I bought one last night.
Oh, you did?
This is superb.
Is it?
And there's no cars coming all the way, there's no buzzes pulling out, it's just fantastic. You know, you've only got to look out for yourself and obviously fallen riders, but apart from that, it's just...
What's the technique? I'm going to go out a little bit later. Can you give me a bit of a technique on how I can do it?
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. Take your time at the beginning and feel your way around. You just go out, enjoy yourself and don't fall off. And don't be intimidated by other riders around you. Just enjoy yourself.
I have noticed that actually. It's quite intimidating. I mean, that's quite a big deal, isn't it?
It is, but if you're not intimidated by who's around you and you do your own thing, they'll obviously, they don't want to hit you, so they'll move. So the best thing to do is just enjoy yourself.
Well, as you can see, that's the end of the first race. Team bike number 2 came in front. I've watched what I can do now. I'm going to go off for my briefing to find out exactly what it's all about, and then we'll hopefully come back out and get back on the track. But hey!
Welcome to second Supermoto race, fellas.
With all forms of motorsport, the most important aspect is safety. The briefing is designed to inform all riders of rules and regulations, so the event can run safely and without incident. For some, it's the first time, and others are professionals. You can't enter an event like this without the right equipment. This has to include racing leathers, an approved helmet, gloves and boots. The race organisers encourage you to get the best out of the day, but they do stress that you should respect other riders and the marshalling of the event.
Well, there we go, the briefing's over. Been given all our rules and regulations. I'm on a team of 4 guys, top guys. We've got Mark, who's out on the track at the moment, Warren, who's done his practice. I've got Danny from CCM. Danny, I'm getting a bit nervous now. It's all getting a bit very serious. And I'm on a fantastic team because you guys are all the dog's cojones.
Okay.
Can you give me just a little bit about riding around the track? What's the technique?
It's easy. They're very easy to ride, just like riding a bike. You never forget. They're very tractable engines, so they're like little traction engines in very small, easy, compact light bikes, you know.
Yeah.
So just keep it in a high gear. It's wet, so you don't want loads of revs for the back end to spin out. Just keep it in a high gear and just get a rhythm.
What gear do you recommend I should stick in? I mean,
Most of the circuit is third gear.
third gear, right?
It's as easy as that. If you go down to second, you start revving it. You'll
know about it.
You'll be exciting, but you won't necessarily be as fast.
Yeah.
And you need to get some confidence. So just get a smooth rhythm and you'll be away.
Great. Okay. Well, there we have it. So, secret is now is let's get out on the track and have a go. Kill it.
We have to kill it every time, otherwise they dock us laps. Right. And they say if we skid to a stop, they'll dock us laps as well.
Oh, okay, right.
Right. So we've got to be up on the rules. Right. Apparently, you just set fastest lap.
Are you using any back brake at it at all?
Yeah, down at the end of the straight there.
Yeah.
But you've got a lot more front brake than you think you have. But obviously, first couple of laps, just go steady and feel it out.
Well, that's the dog's. That's brilliant. Excuse my language. If I just find neutral.
Just stall it. No problem.
That is absolutely fantastic.
It's ever so smooth. Ever so smooth.
That's just. I mean, you're absolutely right. Actually, you stick in third.
Yeah.
And just tease it round. And then the thing is, with doing it, I did a bit of speedway and a bit of motocross. And it's just having the confidence when it starts to go, just to give it a little bit more, but just to keep the power on, which keeps the speed, you know. But I mean, fantastic advice. That's the dogs. Thanks you very much. That's brilliant. Where's the stand?
Warren.
Well, there we have it. It's an interesting concept. It's a tickling process. You've got to tickle a bike round the corners. I think all my other off-road stuff has really helped because you've got to ease the power on. And they used to call me Mr. Smooth, and that's probably the reason why I've stayed on the track today. So I can't wait for the race.
As the rest of the guys complete their practice, let's go and see what Don's musing over.
This is the Honda CB 750-4. It arrived on the scene in 1969, and I think it did more to influence the design of motorcycles as we know them today than any other motorcycle in history. It was the first real superbike. The Honda designers took a number of ideas which affected all areas of the bike, ideas which were proven and reliable, and combined them all into one machine, a machine which was beautiful and desirable. When this Honda appeared on the market in 1969, I was saddened because I realized this was the start of the Japanese invasion on one hand, and it was going to accelerate the decline of the British motorcycle industry on the other. Subsequently, I realized that it was a step change and has led in many ways to the evolution and improvement of motorcycles as we know them today. Japanese did take a different approach. They had the confidence in their design and the nerve and the resources to aim for world markets, and so they tooled up accordingly for mass-produced motorcycles. When we look at the features of this bike, remember all the time that it's 1969 that we're talking about. First of all, we have 4 cylinders across the frame, new. We have an overhead camshaft on a production bike, very rare. We have 4 exhaust pipes and 4 silencers. In your face, really. It had acceleration, vivid acceleration, to 115 miles an hour, smoothly, without vibration and without oil leaks. Very rare. It has 5-gallon tank, 5-speed gearbox, 4 carburetors, 12-volt electrics with indicators, mirrors, rev counter as well as speedometer, front disc brake. We'd never seen all of these features before in one single motorcycle. And on top of that, electric start. These bikes were produced for a broad market, not necessarily for die-hard motorcyclists, and they succeeded in that. They had some success in production racing, which boosted sales further, and in the decade from 1969, they sold hundreds and thousands of these machines. It was a real success. Once on the road, everything works well. It feels good, it looks good, and it sounds great. The overwhelming impression I have from this motorcycle, the thing which influences me more than anything else and gives great fun, is the engine and transmission. It is 4-cylinder, and it is so smooth, so elastic. You can go from 15 miles an hour to 115 miles an hour in top gear without snatch or hesitation. Amazing, wonderful. There are faults with the bike. The braking is very wooden and the switch gear is a bit iffish. The handling isn't up to the standard of the best of British bikes at that time, but this particular machine has modern shocks and tyre and handled extremely well. This CB 750 is a very nice motorcycle. I like it. It does, however, lack one thing, in my opinion, and that is soul. Perhaps I'm prejudiced. But I have to admire it for what it did for motorcycling, for the changes which resulted from its introduction and which are with us today. That's why I admire it.
The 2-hour Supermoto Enduro event fires up, all the teams are getting ready, having worked out their strategies. Our master tactician Danny decides on team placings, and I got pegged number 3. Funny that, maybe I'm the weakest link.
There's our man, number 1, Warren. Let's hope he comes back in again in the same position. That'll be fantastic.
As the track started to dry out, Warren showed how it should really be done, but I would question some of his tactics.
Well, there you see the number's gone out, number 1, so that's going to bring Warren in. Still in pole position. Mark's just getting himself ready. Quick changeover, and then he's out. Warren, you're our trump card on my top team, making up for all my all my mistakes. You're currently British Supermoto champion. You've made a transition from motocross to Supermoto.
Yeah, that's right.
Why was that? What made you change?
Well, my motocross days were more or less at an end. Got into Supermoto on the road, entered my first race event back end of '98, and I won it basically. So that got me interested. I thought, well, looks an interesting sport this, and it's bigger than what I thought it was. And it went from there.
What sort of techniques have you found now, from going from a shale surface or a muddy surface, should we say, to a tarmac? What sort of techniques are
different? Well, a lot, everything really. At first, when I rode my first supermoto race, I was over the back end for braking bumps in the corner, which aren't there on the tarmac, you know, that sort of style. So just keep your weight up over the front, and a lot of riders ride with the feet up, the feet out, but I find that the best way to ride is with your foot out, similar to motocross style. Obviously, you know, you're not keeping the bike upright, you're leaning in the corner.
And you're using your leg then just as a bit of, not a leverage, but as a sort of...
Yeah, as a bit of support. If something does start to wash away, your front end goes, back end goes, you've always got your foot to hopefully correct it.
Can you give me any tips that are going to help me?
The only thing I can say to you is stop using that back brake as the gear stick.
Thank you very much.
Here we go. Get my kit on ready. I'm just about to put the flag out for my mate Mark, who's kept us up in #1 place. And here I go. Hopefully I can keep, you know, don't lose too many places. And let's have some fun. That's the whole point of it. Unbelievable. Utterly amazing.
Our host for today is one of the few companies that manufacture supermoto bikes. I visited the factory to see how they're produced.
Peter, what does CCM stand for?
It stands for Clues Competition Motorcycles. It was a business set up in 1971 by Alan Clues, who was a very well-known rider for BSA, riding trials and enduro at the time.
Well, how do you compete with the biggies, the Germans, the Italians, the, you know...
Japanese.
Japanese, of course,
Well,
yeah.
Mainly by not trying to compete with them. Rather than go head-to-head with the big boys, we try and go to the areas of the market that we see being the future of motorcycling, fast-developing areas like trail riding, motocross, but nowadays dual sport and supermoto, bikes for the street.
So you're actually sort of creating a market then, aren't you?
We are, yes. We make lightweight, powerful, single-cylinder bikes for fun.
How many bikes are you actually producing?
We're currently running up between 7 and 8 a day, which is about 1,500 a year, and we're just about to step that up to about 2,500 a year.
And do you actually create all the components on the bike?
No, we don't. We obviously design all the components, but we make the frame, the subframe that goes here to hold the seat, and the swinging arm, which is the whole rolling chassis. But the rest of the components, we get the front and rear suspension units from Holland, the carburetors from Italy, and the engine comes from Austria.
So I mean, it's quite a European bike, isn't it? It's quite a conglomerate of.
It is. It's like other manufacturers as well, really. What we do is we specify the components we want, and we go out to the best suppliers for that. And the suppliers are all around Europe or all around the world.
And then I suppose you put the package together and design it the way that obviously you want to produce it.
What makes it a British bike is the fact that it's designed here, styled here. That's the big thing. It's got British styling.
Now, they really are off-road and on-road. Does it kind of take long to change the tyres?
No, not at all. And a good majority of our customers now buy the bike with both sets of wheels, and they go to work Monday to Friday with the road wheels on, and then 10 minutes Saturday morning, whip those out, off-roads in, and away they go. Riding off-road with their mates, and it literally is a 10-minute job. It's been engineered to be a simple job.
So it's a real dual-purpose bike, and you've got the best of both worlds.
Where you go, mate? Oh my goodness. I'm completely hooked. It's incredible. I could have stayed out there all day long. Didn't want to come in. It was funny when I saw the number 1 come up, I said, God, I'd love to do 5 more, 10 more laps. Amazing, amazing sport. It's been a fantastic experience doing this. Also, it's extremely competitive. These people are really, you know, they're competitive, they're having a go. But amazing fun. Loved it. Well, that's the end of the day. Here's the team, the winning team. Guys, just want to say thanks very much for all the guidance, all the help you've given me, and for making up for my shortfalls, which has been fantastic. So thanks very much indeed. That's Supermoto. Entertaining, fun, cheap to do. Get out, get yourself out and buy a bike.